I can see you better.
Kind of silly.
He kept trying to catch your eye.
Well, we still got a minute, so.
It's on you.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
All right. Well, it's time to ask you to stand for our opening song. We are all friends here.
Good gracious. What is it, a foot a week or whatever? My. Whew. Life goes on, doesn't it? Wow, that's really something, though. Today's word, worthy, and particularly the affirmation, I kind of struggle with to put into practice. Um, I fully appreciate it's easy for me to say, we're all children of God, you know, black, white, purple, this, that, and that. We're all children of God. But sometimes I struggle with the behavior of us, and it's kind of hard for me to accept all people with the varied kinds of behaviors that they demonstrate, knowing full well that should be able to forgive them and accept them as they are. Just a couple of days ago, I had the good fortune to be selected to serve on a jury. It's a criminal jury, and it's not a very pleasant one. And for some reason, I got selected. I have a difficult time being selected generally. But anyway, I'm selected to serve on it beginning Tuesday. And I'm just going to have to keep reminding myself this person is a child of God, and to be understanding and accepting of whatever the kinds of decisions our little 12-person body makes for his future and for the good of our community. So anyway, let's keep these good thoughts in mind that we all are children of a bigger spirit, and try to be as understanding as we are from the many challenges in our world today. Worthy. The affirmation is, all people are worthy as children of God. Would you join with me, please? All people are worthy as children of God. It can be easy to look at others and see differences, the things that tend to keep us separate. I may even make judgments about their worthiness. But each person is so much more than their appearance, habits, and histories. Today, I commit to treating others as I would want them to treat me, as the divine beings they are. I will look beyond appearances, put aside any judgments, and open my heart to others. I will treat all others as individuations of the divine and beloved members of the human family. As I do this, I feel differences and separations fall away. I behold our similarities and feel a new kind of kinship, one born of respect and appearance and acceptance. All people are one in God, and each is worthy of inclusion and belonging. Very, very powerful words, inspired by Romans, the 8th chapter, the 16th verse. It is that very Spirit bearing witness with our spirit that we are children of God. And now we indeed are blessed, as our good friends from the mountain, Alyssa, Anton, Laura, will sing the Lord's Prayer as it's never been sung before. Woo!
Each time it's different. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not in temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory
And now is the time that we set aside for meditation. So if you're comfortable in closing your eyes, opening your heart, opening your mind to the inflow of God's love, we have prepared ourselves in song, for we truly are children of God. So as that feeling and vibration flowed through us, we can feel the divine at work within us, healing each cell of our body, opening our hearts to seeing everything that's within to guide our words and steps. So it is with great love that we go into the silence, holding the highest and best for ourselves and the healing that takes place for our family and friends, knowing that they are held in that light of love. So as we go into the silence, let's hold that feeling of love. So as we gently return to this time and this place, we bring with us that feeling of joy, that love that is the energy that makes up who we are and what we're here for. So it's within that love that we send to our family and friends the healing, the love, the rejuvenation in spirit. So let us bring their names into this sanctuary of love together. Marissa, Carl, we gather all of these souls, along with each person mentioned in our prayer box, the love that was shared at Silent Unity. And we know that all prayer begins with ourselves. So let's set the condition of love within ourselves by mentioning our own name aloud and affirming God's love within us. Together, Kenneth. So it is with this love of ourselves, of spirit, of our family and friends, of all those in our community, that we send out from this loving sanctuary God's love. And now we get to have a celebration song. So let us kind of sit back and just relax and take in the love that is flowing through us at this very moment.
So we don't have words for this song. You can sing along. It's a song that I can't really say I wrote it. I compiled it because, we're doing Surrender? I didn't write this at all. Michael Gott wrote it. I'm fortunate enough to have been able to play it with him.
All
You know, many people feel that feeling of inadequacy that Al talked about when he mentioned that we are all worthy. During the retreat that I mentioned to you that I attended, and there were 35 other sinners represented there by their minister or licensed unity teacher. Sinners, what did I say? Sinners. Well, I mean, we are all sinners. We all fall a little short once in a while. Well, I guess I can't say short, can I? Some people fall shorter than others, yes. Okay, now we've broken my thought. The reason I was bringing this up is I had the opportunity on Wednesday when we had our business meeting for the region and forward. And I was elected by unanimous consent. And that's exactly the way I felt, is when the person who was running the meeting, the president, said, "Are there any nominations from the floor?" I was honestly going to say, because there was only 2 slots and 2 people had been put forward. And it was really interesting how I depth with that feeling of what do I have to offer? What is it about me that people would want me serving on their board to represent the region? So I thought it was really interesting, and I had to come to grips with exploring the truth of what makes us and you worthy. Well, when in doubt, where do we go? We go to the good book, right? We go to the Bible. And we say, there's got to be something in there that tells me that I'm worthy. And sure enough, the first thing is that we're created in God's image. And let me give you that quote. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them. And he created us all exactly the same, right? You know. We're all different. He created us as being different. We think differently, we act differently, but we're all children of God. On Saturday, somebody talked to me about a blog they were doing. And it was, we should all be like pumpkins. That's what I said. Well, pumpkins? And they talked about going to the store and in a big pumpkins. And they all were different. There was little ones and there was big ones. There was naughty ones. There was pink ones. There was brown ones. There were all different. And everybody just loved it. They just looked at those pumpkins and valued them. So we ourselves can look at each other differently and value each other. Well, that brought me to number 2. And the second thing was, I am valued and loved by God. You are valued and loved by God. Well, Ken, give me the scripture. I thought you'd never ask. It's from Psalms 139, and it says, "For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well." We've been made by God. So how can we ever consider ourselves not worthy? Do we make mistakes? Absolutely. But we're given the opportunity to change And why is that? Because we're chosen and we're precious in God's eyes. The quote for that one is 1 Peter 2 through 9. And it says, you are chosen, God's special possession. Think of that word that's being used, possession. What is possessions? It's ownership, isn't it? God owns us and gives us the latitude to be who we are. Chosen and precious. Oh, good, Ken, you're on a roll. Give us number 4. Number 4. You're redeemed and you're forgiven. Redeemed. Oh, wait a second, Ken. Redeemed? Redeemed from what? Forgiven for what? And the quote is from Ephesians 1. And it says, in spirit we have forgiveness of our shortcomings in accordance with the riches of God's grace. You can feel comfortable in being who you are. That's the blessing. You're here for who you're meant to be. As we said earlier, do we make mistakes? Absolutely. And what do? We forgive ourselves, don't we? Just as God forgives us. And we move forward, more enlightened and more in tune with Spirit. Oh, we are worthy. We are worthy in receiving God's graces and love and being who we're meant to be. No matter what you may feel or face, in God's love and truth. You are created in His image, chosen, loved, and redeemed. So let what you heard today encourage you to see yourself worthy, valuable, and deeply cherished. And if we see this worthiness for ourselves, then we can see it in all God's pumpkins. Everyone. So then let's go back to what Al read to us as part of the daily word. And let's make these affirmations for ourselves. And there are 3. I commit to treating others as I would want them to treat me. Together. I commit to treating others as I would want them to treat me. Sounds so simple, doesn't it? We've committed to it. Number 2. I will look beyond appearances, put aside judgments, and open my heart to others. Together. I will look beyond appearances, put aside judgments, and open my heart to others. How many of you feel those God bumps? Yeah. No judgments. Accepting the appearances may be different, but we're all God's children. We're blessed. Ready for it? Open your hands to receive this treat. I will treat all others as individuals of the divine with respect and acceptance. Together. I will treat all others as individuals of the divine with respect and acceptance. Wow. Do you have a full Sunday or what? Absolutely. So as you move forward in your day, in your week, remember the words you heard today. The words that Al shared through the daily word. The words you heard through the testament of the Bible. And the feeling that you got when you accepted the affirmation to love each other and respect each other and to hold high the love that we have for each other. God bless and thank you. I say hallelujah.
Well, it's a morning for affirmations. So we've got a couple in this next song. The first, Emma Curtis Hopkins. She was a great teacher in Chicago in the 1880s. There's a good for me and I ought to have it. And then Ernest Holmes, who founded Centers for Spiritual Living, Religious Science. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is my life now.
You're absolutely welcome to sing along with this and affirm it for yourselves. There's a good for me, and I ought to have it. A good for me, and I ought to have it. There's a good for me, and I ought to have it. A good for me, and I ought to have it. There's a good for me, and I ought to have it. A good for me, and I ought to have it. There's a good for me, and I ought to have it. A good for me, and I ought to have it. There is only one life.
So today we're going to be reviewing our mission statement. Say it with me. Unity Church in Reading is a radiating center of God's unconditional love, embracing healing, spiritual transformation, and service. And if you join me in putting your offering into your hand as we say our blessing. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Abundance.
The love of God is in my life, and the strength of God is in my life, and I am strong. The life of God is in my life, and I am healed. The life of God is in my life, and I am
Now, that would be a great affirmation also. I am healed. Oh, we give special thanks for this prosperity that has come forward to do the work of Unity Church in Reading. We give thanks for each person here today sharing their love, sharing their time, sharing their commitment with this community, Unity Church in Reading. And we are so blessed by each person who has joined us for this divine appointment. And we give thanks. And so it is.
Okay, so now it's time for announcements. So first, we want to thank our volunteers, Janice, Jerry, and Jacob. We have the 3 J's today. So thank you all. The church office will be open this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we have meditation at noon, which you can come in or call. And remember, on Sundays at 9:30, there is a spirit circle in the prayer room. So come early and then stay for service. And we're going to introduce the board members, Mary, Al, and Kay. Oh. And we will not be having Reiki this Tuesday, but we'll be back on the 21st from 4 to 5:30. Remember, today after service we have Kirtan, and that will be about noon, right? Starting at noon. On Thursdays at 10 a.m. we have Course in Miracles, and at 1 o'clock on Thursdays is Circle of Love Book Club. And as always, we want to thank those who are bringing snacks for fellowship. If you're interested, you can sign up in the kitchen or talk to Janice, and she'll tell you what to do. And as we prepare for church, remember in the morning that we are perfume and cologne-free zone. And as always, you can check the 12-step program meeting times on the bulletin board. There's some notes written here in, am I supposed to, something supposed to be said?
Could you bring up that one slide that we had on this morning that talked about our October right. So for October, we recognize zeal, and it's Simon the Canaanite. You find it in the back of the head. The color is orange. How great is that? And it's the ability to be enthusiastic. So often when you feel that you're kind of slow or letting down, that's the center that you go to talk about, to pump up. That's the 12 powers, and this is the one we recognize for October. Oh, the next one is, some of you may know, some of you may not know, that in the helicopter accident on Wednesday, our very own nurse, Susie Smith, passed away on Friday night. So they're going to be having a, I don't want to say a procession, coming up from Red Bluff, coming up to 44 and going out to Palisadro, where her body will be taken. And that was our very own nurse, and they were doing a health flight from Red Bluff to Davis, and the helicopter crashed on the way back. So it's with blessing that we hold for the highest and best.
Okay, and so we look forward to seeing you here next Sunday in the sanctuary, or remember you can view it on Facebook or the website if you can't make it in person. And now we will have our closing song.
Let there be peace on earth.
now our prayer of protection, call and response. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And together, wherever we are, God is, and so it is. God bless, and thank you each for being here. You're a blessing. Thank you. Most of you know that we do have a kirtan right afterwards, so take a snack, and they'll set up in about 15, 20 minutes. We'll begin.